Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate all of your support. Enjoy the video. Teacher Talking Sports here, and today the teacher's gonna go bargain shopping for Week 11 DraftKings. Teachers don't make a huge salary, sometimes you gotta do that bargain shopping, and today we're gonna do that in DraftKings. Of course, everyone wants guys such as Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, and you could take them, sure, but then you're going to have to get lesser salary players to fill out your roster. So today I'm going to name some of my favorites for tomorrow's Week 11 action. So these are the games, all the games on Sunday. I'm going to start at quarterback, and if we look here, Cam Newton, just $5,100. If you look at the list of starting quarterbacks that are less than him, it's very minimum. We got Tyrod Taylor at 5,000. I believe there was two more. Joe Flacco at 4,600, and I believe the only other one is Tim Boyle, who is going to be making his first career start against the with the Lions, as long as Jared Goff, who is listed as doubtful, does sit out. So those are the only three quarterbacks who are less expensive than Cam Newton. Made his season debut last week. Only played 8 snaps and had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Yes, you may remember he was not all that successful with the Patriots last season. Really struggled throwing the ball, but even so, he still ran for 12 touchdowns on the year. So he's going to give himself a higher floor than most just because of his ability to run with the ball. And that was in 15 starts, 12 touchdowns, 592 rushing yards. Cam Newton also has better weapons with the Panthers than he did last season with the Patriots, who had arguably the worst set of receivers and tight ends in all of the NFL. He's my choice for bargain shopping at quarterback, and I actually have him in the main DraftKings I am doing. Let's move on to running back. We're going to start at 5,400. That is Mark Ingram II. It has been announced that Alvin Kamara will miss his second straight game. Mark Ingram was reacquired by the Saints, so he's in his second stint after a slow start in Houston, but nobody could run the ball for the Texans, so that's more of a team thing. In his first start with the Saints last week against the Titans, ran for 47 yards and a touchdown, while also catching 4 passes for 61 yards. So in his last 2 games, he has 9 catches for 82 yards. The Saints were more of a running team than most teams, even with Jameis Winston in at quarterback. Now with Trevor Siemian, they're even probably more so a running team. So Ingram should get a bunch of carries in the game. As you can see, he's been utilized in the passing game the past 2 weeks. Mark Ingram's only tied for the 21st most expensive running back on the week. He's a guy you could get for relatively cheap. And also we got 5,100, Jeff Wilson Jr. Now Elijah Mitchell, the normal starting running back, is doubtful after fracturing his finger and having surgery on it. So just check in to make sure that Elijah Mitchell is out. But it always seems like whoever's playing running back for the 49ers, whether it's Mostert or Wilson at times last year, Mitchell this year, it always seems like they're a viable choice to be played in fantasy sports, whether it's daily or straight up fantasy football. He did get 10 carries last week, only had 28 yards, but he is facing a Jaguars team that has given up 11 rushing touchdowns. So I would definitely expect Wilson to produce and have a very strong chance at a touchdown. So those are my 2 bargain shopping running backs. Let's move to wide receiver. We'll start at 4,600. And I'm going to go Robby Anderson here. So Robby Anderson, I've put the two of them together, him and new starting quarterback Cam Newton. Robby Anderson has been one of the league's huge disappointments this season, has just not gotten it together whatsoever. And that's very surprising because last season was very productive. Last season, he caught 95 balls for 1,096 yards. And this far this year, he's caught 23 passes for 243 yards. But you wonder if he was revitalized last game. Received 6 targets, caught 4 passes, 37 yards, and a touchdown. His first touchdown since week 6. I just believe that, maybe losing Sam Darnold will help Robby Anderson become close to the receiver he was last year. I mean, I don't expect him to be catching 6 balls a game like last season. But as I mentioned, Washington's given up a league worst 22 touchdown passes. If I didn't mention it, that's why Cam Newton's a good choice too. Giving up 279 passing yards a game. Robby Anderson definitely should have the opportunity to put up some numbers. $100 cheaper, we got Rashod Bateman. Rashod Bateman doesn't have an injury designation ahead of the game against the Bears. Bateman has performed well in his last 2 games. He now has caught 11 passes for 132 yards. So he's becoming more of a threat. And Lamar Jackson's looked his way often. 16 targets in the last 2 games. He was a first-round pick of the Ravens this year, out of Minnesota. So I think this could be a good opportunity for Bateman to score his first touchdown against the Bears. Bears will be without Khalil Mack, who is now out for the season. I could see Bateman getting his first career touchdown. Next, let's go a little bit cheaper. We got Michael Gallup for 4,200. Gallup came back from his calf injury. It was his first game since the opener last week. He caught 3 balls for 42 yards, was targeted 5 times. Well, he was back in his third receiver spot behind CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, but Cooper will miss this game and the next after testing positive for COVID-19. So Gallup moves up the depth chart. He is now the Cowboys' number 2 receiver. He's been a very productive player in his career. Even with Lamb and Cooper last year, he put up solid numbers. So in a game against the Chiefs that has the highest over-under for the week, 56.5, and this is according to DraftKings Sportsbook. Definitely could see Michael Gallup getting a touchdown, so I believe he would be an excellent choice at that lower price point. And the guy I haven't taken, but who you might be interested in, is worth 3,500. Where are you? There he is. Marcus Johnson. Hasn't done much all season. Had just 4 catches heading into last week's game. He ended up catching 5 balls for 100 yards in a game that A.J. Brown was completely silent. Only had 1 catch. Julio Jones is hurt once again. He has been placed on IR. Looks like Marcus Johnson has overtaken Chester Rogers in the depth chart and should be their number 2. So if you want a really cheap wide receiver that has the opportunity to produce, Marcus Johnson isn't a bad choice. And then let's head to tight end. So the tight end I like best is, let me scroll up, Dan Arnold at 4,100. He's not going to be my bargain shopping guy, although 4,100 is pretty cheap. That's, I believe, the 10th most for tight ends. If you look at his last 3 games, 17 catches, over at least 60 yards each game. You got to figure he's due for maybe a touchdown. He doesn't have one on the year. 34 catches combined with the Cardinals and LA Jaguars. But if we want to go bargain shopping, let's go a little cheaper to 3,400, and that's Cole Kmet, second-year tight end. Looks like he's starting to build a connection with rookie quarterback Justin Fields, and is coming off his best game of the season, 6 catches for 87 yards, as you see in the analysis by RotoWire. Gains of 25 and 21 yards during the first half, and has at least 6 targets in 3 straight games. Bears are coming off a bye week, so he had more opportunity to build a rapport with Justin Fields. I believe he is the best bargain shopping tight end there is. So there are 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and a tight end that I think are excellent bargain shopping choices for your DraftKings team. Taking these guys allows you to take more expensive players, the McCaffreys, the Diggs, the Adams, the Hills, whatever position. You could fill out your team with more of those guys when you're taking the less expensive guys. Let me know in the comments below what other inexpensive players you are looking to take in DraftKings. Not sure what these guys cost in FanDuel or Yahoo or any other daily fantasy site, but if they're relatively cheap in those sites too, I definitely suggest taking a strong look at them. Teacher Talking Sports, doing some basement bargain shopping. Let me know in the comments who else you want to take. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I am out.